Let her talk. Everyone's had an opportunity. Everyone's had an opportunity. You let my wife talk. You let my wife talk now, right?
And I felt like I actually didn't owe you an apology. First of all,
This dinner party was a dumpster fire. It was dinner party number 4 and everybody came in with some sort of mess. The audacity for me, for Jackie, was just shocking. The fact that she still feels aggrieved about something that happened last week and she's been crying and we all haven't seen her tears doesn't make sense. I think she did it for attention. Adrian, my dear, you taking her to Nando's and you're calling it something romantic. Nando's is amazing. I love Nando's. I'm actually thinking of getting Nando's tonight, but still, the idea that you think that is enough to justify you saying you want to stay in the experiment doesn't make sense. I really don't get it. And Morena, your friend said you take it if he told you you didn't want children, and here we are back to square one. Why are we here? Why are we going back and forth? Why? Make it make sense? Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight Australia, Season 12, Episode 20. I'm going to play devil's advocate just for now and say Paul and Karina have been doing amazingly well throughout the experience. Well, thus far, they have been the peaceful couple that's caring and getting to know one another. So we get this story from Karina whereby she says they were in the car, in the Uber with Rhea and Jeff. They were playing music and she was making the requests, and then she requested music from a rapper and revealed that she had slept with a rapper. And so her explaining it, or everyone else's perception, is that, outside of Paul, that it was nothing, it was something that they would have moved on from. And it's like, even Rhea says, well, if Jeff had said he had slept with, let's say, Billie Eilish, I think, or something, she said, I would have said, good for you. Don't say that. Don't lie. Don't lie. Because I bet you if Paul had played music and turned around and said I'd slept with that artist, they would have been up in arms. That he's bragging about it, is being braggadocious. And I feel like that's how he took it. And this is why he was upset. Because then you start to think, one, there's another couple with us. What impression are you trying to sort of set by telling them that you slept with this person? And also, why would you not tell me in advance? Why would you feel the need to just blurt it out in the Uber with the Uber driver, a stranger we don't know? Make that make sense? I found it disrespectful. I agree it was disrespectful. I believe the two of them are 50-50 responsible for whatever happened between the two of them. And I think she's sanitized it and sort of played it out in a way that is palatable to everybody else, because she says when they got back, she was getting ready for bed. He was still agitated, and then she tried to cuddle him and he didn't want to be cuddled, and then he punched the wall. And it's like, nah, there's a bit more to the story than that the two of you are not telling us. What happened? Was there a back and forth between the two of you? Was there an argument whereby you were trying to contain him and he didn't want to be contained, and he kept telling you, leave me alone, I need space, I need to leave? Was he wanting to leave the apartment and you were refusing to let him leave, and that's why you were holding on to him, and then he lashed out and then he punched the wall? I'm not saying Paul is right for punching the wall, but I'm saying there is more to this story than what we are being told. We need to know more. We need to find out more, because it doesn't make sense that she tried to cuddle him, to console him, and he wanted his space and then he punched the wall. That's not enough to anger someone to that extent, especially someone who's been very well contained. If it was somebody like an Adrian or someone like a Ryan, then I would say yes. But for very quiet people, I know you can't just say just because someone is quiet or well behaved in public that he's good, but still something about that story doesn't make sense. So everybody's getting ready for the dinner party. We have Jamie and Dave. Jamie and Dave are in a good space because for some reason they've managed to make it work, whether it's because someone has been more flexible or whether it's just because there's something about them that's clicked. They really like one another. So they made the best impression to their parents when they met them, and the family's response was very positive. So Jamie's saying she's starting to develop the fields and she can actually see a future with this man outside the experience. I think Dave is a great guy. He comes across as a great guy. He comes across as though he's not trying to put on an act, so which is something that I love. The fact that he's able to sort of help Jamie become her best self is something that I really find endearing about him. So I'm happy that the two of them are at peace and they're in this very good space. You have Rhea and Jeff. Rhea and Jeff are another couple that are doing very well. I think Rhea and Jeff have a head start on everybody else because at least they know each other as friends and they've also dated. So I think it was just them sort of ironing out whatever issues caused them to sort of fizzle out. And they seem to be in the best of spaces. Their parents were very happy. Rhea's mum was ecstatic about the meetup and she really liked Jeff. And I've already said it that Jeff comes across as a great guy. He's got a great job. He seems like he's got a great head on his shoulders. So I wouldn't be surprised, if he and Rhea actually work on this thing and make it last forever or last way past the experience. And then you have Jackie and Ryan. Jackie and Ryan are a sketch show. They are a sketch show, and I think they're constantly looking for a storyline because you have Jackie sort of confiding in Ryan that she feels some type of way because in her confessional she says she appreciates that he's been very supportive, but she also feels some type of way about the fact that Rhea came at her. And it's like, seriously, are we doing that because we don't have drama in our couple, or are we doing that because we feel some type of way? If you felt that way, Jackie, you could have pulled Rhea aside outside of the cameras and had a conversation, but no, you've decided to do it on camera. And my impression is producers have told them that they need to be messy about something, and they've decided that for now their relationship should be at peace, and sadly Rhea and Jeff are in their crosshairs. And I think this works both ways because Rhea and Jeff are doing very well as a couple. They don't have drama. These other two are doing maybe very well as well, given who they are and how they maneuver their relationship. And so I think they're looking for drama so that they stay relevant on the show. Otherwise, you don't get camera time if there's no issues with you. And then we have Morena and Tony. And this is painful to watch. This is really painful to watch because at the end of the day, I don't even understand why we're still here. Tony has said he wants children. She is not able to give him children. They haven't even discussed adoption or whatever, so they need to keep it stepping. I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. I feel like her friends are the ones that came up with the excuse of saying, I want children. Because Tony has never said he wanted children all along, and suddenly, after speaking to her friends, he's brought up that he wants children. Morena should just take it for what it is and keep it stepping. But no, she's decided to be, all hot and bothered about it. She's decided to stand on business, and I have a feeling she's going to bring it up at the dinner party, and this is not the end of it. And sadly, poor Tony is non-confrontational, and he will have to learn to speak up. Otherwise, this woman is going to railroad him. I feel like his excuse for not wanting her is the fact that she railroads him. Not because he wants children, but because she railroads him. And I wish he had said that in his first confessional, but he was trying to protect her when she doesn't try and protect him. So it doesn't make sense to me why he keeps, trying to protect someone who's not there for him. And then you have Afina and Adrian. What are they still doing in the experience? Please let me know. Somebody let me know. What are they still doing in the experience? I don't get it, because at the end of the day, they both said they didn't want anything to do with one another after Meet the Family. So why are we here? Why are we hearing about this conversation again? Why didn't Afina's sister come and drag her? I have a feeling Afina said no, she wanted to stay in the experience. And her sister, this is why she didn't come back to the apartments with her, because she didn't want to be involved in that hot mess. Because I think if she had been serious about leaving, when she told Adrian she wanted to leave, her sister would have gone with her. But I have a feeling there must have been a conversation with the sister and production that was not shown on camera. That's the reason why she went back, because it does not make sense. I know someone was making an excuse that she's, she had a boyfriend when she was young and she had a child. That's not good enough. At some point, she needs to realize that this man does not want her. He told her he didn't want her the moment he said he didn't want someone with a child. So the idea that she's continuing to be in this relationship doesn't make sense to me. You have Clint and Lauren. Clint and Lauren, they're in a very good space. They're happy. Lauren is happy for now. I think Lauren is happy that she's with someone who's more accomplished than her ex Elliot, and she loves the idea of rubbing it in his face. Do I think she likes him romantically now? Somebody in the comments was saying she dated Jono. I guess Jono has a type because she reminds me of Ellie, so he's got a type. It is what it is. I don't see this lasting after the experience unless she likes the idea that he's got money and she wants to continue to be well looked after. I know she's got a business of her own, but I think she stands to gain more if she stays with him. That's the impression that I get. TJ and Beth. TJ and Beth are in their own little paradise. They are staying out of the beef, out of the drama. I love the fact that they were saying, oh, do we have anything to bring up? And she went, no, we don't. And they don't, because they've been minding their business. They've been working on the connection that they have and trying to grow as a couple. And then Elliot. I know a lot of people are feeling sorry for Elliot. Yeah, to some extent, he doesn't deserve to be dressed down the way he has been, but this is how he made other people feel. And he's getting a taste of his own medicine. As I said in my comments, I feel like Veronica, on her part, listens to the words that came out of his mouth at the dinner party, listens to the words that came out of Lauren's mouth when she sat down with Lauren, and this has painted a negative picture of Elliot, and there is nothing he can say or do outside of sitting down at the commitment ceremony in order to win her, because she is stuck in the sense that there are certain things she wanted to know about him, whether or not he's given one-word answers or whether or not she was just brought in to try and give him a redemption arc. I don't get it, but something has happened that has caused her to feel the way she does. Yes, she's being a bit anal in the sense that she continues to tell him, I want to know more about you. Ask him, what do you want to know about him? Ask him the questions that you want to know. Let him give you the opportunity to say, yes, he's responded, or no, he hasn't. Instead of you continuing to tell us that, he's very superficial. Yes, he's very superficial, but question him. Ask him the questions that you want to know. Don't continue to be hypercritical over an incident that's already over and done with. Give him examples of what you wanted him to tell you about, what you would have preferred getting to know about to make sure you understood this man better, instead of you continuing to have this back and forth and he is sort of standing there dumbfounded because he doesn't know exactly what you want. Tell him what you want to hear. Ask him what you want to know. And keep it stepping. There's no need for all this. For him to say to her, enjoy your last dinner party, is like, Elliot is petty. He is petty. So it's the fourth dinner party. And one thing we've learned by watching Mavs dinner parties is it always goes down. It always goes down. They show everyone on their way to, the dinner party. And you have Afina and Adrian going on their own. You have Elliot and Veronica also on their own. All the other couples are in their individual cars, which is amazing because we know the drama is about to start once we get to the dinner party. And first to walk in are Jackie and Ryan. Jackie and Ryan are at peace. Whatever happened with Meet the Family has made Jackie decide to be at peace with Ryan. So she's put down her arms for Ryan and she's got a new target, which is Ree, and poor Ree has no idea what she has coming. Next to walk in are Beth and TJ. Beth and TJ are good. They've been good since the moment they met, and they are in their own space and they're minding their own business, which I love. They're followed in by Jamie and Dave. Jamie and Dave are the sweetest ever. They are excited, they're ecstatic, they're giddy, they're in this happy space. So they're trying to sort of keep in their little bubble, even though they do talk to other people when they get there. Elliot walks in. Elliot is on his own. Obviously, his bride is upset with him, so he is going to walk on his own until things are sort of resolved. So he sits down and people are sort of asking him, are you okay? How are things going? And he's saying, well, he doesn't know. In his confessional, he says he doesn't think his marriage is salvageable. I think this is it. And so it's going to be interesting to see whether Veronica pulls the plug. I don't think she's going to pull the plug after 1 week. I think she's going to drag this man for all he's worth, and then eventually they're going to make peace until they get to final vows, because there's no way the producers would bring Elliot back just for 1 week unless everybody else protested that they didn't want him there. You have Jackie sit down for a chat with Jamie, and it's like, poor Jamie, how did she find herself in this situation? Because Jackie is venting. She's sort of saying that she feels some type of way about the way Ree treated her at the commitment ceremony. She felt humiliated. She felt embarrassed. She felt devalued. She felt everything under the sun, and so she has a mouthful for Ree when Ree gets there, and she can't wait for Ree to come so that she can give her a piece of her mind. Ree immediately walks in with Jeff. They're good. They're not even bothered that, Ryan and Jackie didn't stand up to greet them. Although Ree just said hello to them and kept it stepping, Jackie is seething. She's now this vulnerable, delicate flower. She's so distraught that she's having to be, consoled by Ryan, and it's like, make it make sense. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I'm just here. I'm just going to watch. In a confessional, she reveals that, Jackie is not her friend. How is Jackie greeting her like they're friends when they're not friends? She knows how she treated her. So Jackie has come with lectures for Ree. And it's like now Ryan is going to be vindicated because he told everyone that she had lectures for him and people were side-eyeing him and thinking he was lying. Well, now that Ree is about to get a taste of that medicine, I hope she's able to speak up and let everybody else know that Ryan was right, that Jackie does have these moments where she comes up with these things that you sort of question what is going on here. So you have Ree in her feelings because she doesn't know what to do. She knows that when she greeted Jackie and Ryan responded, but Jackie didn't. And she's already had a conversation with Jamie and has been put in the loop that Jackie feels some type of way. She's been crying because of the way or the comments that you made. And Ree is in this space whereby she doesn't know what to do because in her opinion, she thought they'd moved on from it. But then it's like, well, you moved on because you addressed your concerns. And Jackie holds on to stuff. So there was always this possibility that she was going to go on and on about this situation. So it shouldn't be something new to you. It shouldn't be something that's puzzling to you as well. So they sit down and she's reassured by Jamie that just focus on you and your relationship. If Jackie brings it up, amazing. If she doesn't, amazing. It is what it is. Just keep it stepping. Adrian walks in on his own. He immediately sits down with the guys and tries to download the situation according to his point of view. The fact that, his family had heard his side of the situation. And so he wanted them to hear from, Afina and find out exactly what was going on. But then when Afina's sister came in, she then caused all the havoc and the misunderstanding and the name calling. And it wasn't necessary. She didn't need to do that. And Afina doesn't realize that her sister was wrong. And it's like the audacity for this man. Does he know that there are cameras around? Has he completely forgotten that this is going to be shown? People are going to see what took place prior to him going to the dinner party to reveal whatever he revealed. And what I love is because he was sitting close to the door, Afina was able to hear everything he said. And so he has the audacity to pull her aside and say to her, let's have a conversation. Let's agree that we won't discuss Meet the Family. And it's like, how are we not discussing Meet the Family when you have already downloaded everything from your point of view? So I shouldn't say my point of view. If my point of view is wrong, why are you not allowing me to speak up? And I feel like this is what I said it yesterday and I'll say it now. This is what he did to his family. He gave them his warped point of view of everything that was going on in the marriage and they came primed and ready. And he's done the same thing to everybody in the experiments. He's tainted their perception of what happened with Afina's sister. That way when Afina comes in, everyone is side-eyeing her. I give her kudos for standing up for herself, but I don't think she should still be in this experiment. I think as much as she said she wanted to go, she should have been sent home. The producers should have sent her home because this situation is not healthy. I remember on Married at First Sight UK, there was Shauna who they felt that her husband was manipulating her and they eventually sent them home. The same thing should have been done with Adrian and Afina. Afina should have been sent home. She should have been allowed to go home and heal because this man is not healthy for her. He's leaving her with a lot of psychological damage that she'll have to deal with before she gets into her next relationship. You have Lauren and Clint walk in. They're just walking in side by side. Like, there are people that just met and are going somewhere and so they're going to walk in side by side. There's no even romantic attraction that you can see. There's no it's sort of idea that these people really like each other romantically. I think she's just there to be on TV and he is just going to follow along because he likes her and hopes that she might change. But I think her letter or her casting thingy video did a great disservice more than it did her any justice. You have Tony and Morena walk in. Morena, in her confessional, is still upset that Tony said you want someone who will have children with him. And it's like, you said this man is Houdini. You said this man is not participating fully in this experiment. Why are you bothered if he is going to want children or not? That's not your business. You have your 2 lovely children. Go home, look after your children. You will find your person that is able to sort of cope with everything that you come with to the table. There's no need for you to be dragging this man for filth when you know for a fact that you said he's not man enough for you. You wanted a manly man and he's not it. You have Veronica walk in. She is very confident. She is very in herself. Elliot is nervous. Elliot is intimidated by Veronica because with Lauren, he was able to say and do whatever he wants. And sadly, Veronica is the female version of Elliot. And Elliot doesn't know how to compute that. He doesn't know how to deal with that because he's used to having his say and everybody else just going along with it. So the idea that somebody thinks and behaves the same way he does is something he wasn't prepared for and something he didn't know he was going to be matched with. And now he doesn't know what to do with himself. When, Lauren and Veronica were hugging, Elliot was like, oh, they're my 2 wives hugging. And it's like, well, I think part of you regrets letting go of Lauren because Lauren was a better match for you. But hey, you have Karina and Paul walk in. Karina and Paul have been the picture of relationship. They've been relationship goals and they're struggling. And you can see Ree and Jeff know exactly what's happened because of how nervous they are. They know something is not right. The fact that he walked in with his hand in his pocket, trying to hide the bruises from him punching the wall. It's going to be interesting to see how he explains himself. It's going to be interesting to see how everybody else takes it on board. Because Paul was very nervous, and even Karina was saying, I don't know how to behave in this situation because we've always come in a different state, and the state we're in, I don't know how to address that or how to present that. So as soon as everybody sits down, you have Paul sort of tell the group that I have a confession. So he reveals that he was very minimalistic with the facts. He was very minimalistic with the facts in the sense that he didn't want to make Karina look bad. He didn't want her to make her look bad. I think had it been Adrian would have thrown her under the bus, run over her a couple of times, and then owned up to what he did. So he just told the group that, Karina and I, we had our first fight, and during our first fight, she wanted to resolve the issue. I wanted to leave because I'm someone who, if there's a problem, I want to leave. And sort of, I think he wants to leave, take a moment, reflect, think, analyze, come back with a solution. But she wanted them to resolve it so that they could go to bed peacefully. And sadly, he punched the door. Did he punch the door on his way out? Did he punch the door trying to get out? Did he punch the door trying to make her understand? Nobody asked all that. Everybody was just stuck on he punched the door. You had the experts saying that this is a very terrible thing to do. It needs to be addressed. It's something that we need to talk about because it's unacceptable. I love that Dave was the first voice of reason to speak up because everybody else was dumbfounded. They didn't know what to do. And Dave was sort of explaining that it's unacceptable at any point in time for someone to be that to use their hands as a way of sort of distressing or expressing how angry they are. You should be able to contain your emotions. You should be able to avoid becoming physically violent or aggressive or whatever. And so I get it. I get where he's coming from. And I'm trying to be the voice of reason in the sense that I don't want to be too harsh on this man because there must be... I don't want to also be too harsh on Karina, but the story, according to how we've been told it, it makes me question, was Karina trying to detain him by holding on to him when he was leaving? Did she think he was leaving her and he wasn't coming back? What was it? What exactly happened? I want to know. I have a lot of questions that I need answered first before I can make a decision. I don't condone physical abuse, but at the same time, I want to find out and dissect and be reflective of the whole situation. You had Ryan stand up and say this is unacceptable. At no point at all is it acceptable for you to use violence, and the violence is never acceptable. But the audacity for him, I guess, is regardless of what Jackie has done or said, he's always been able to sort of contain his anger. So I give him credit for that. Karina, on her part, she really likes her guy and she doesn't want to give up on the relationship. So she's trying to speak positivity into the relationship and the connection, which I love for her. And then it's the audacity for me. It's the audacity. Elliot, the audacity for you to sit there and say you need to have a conversation with Paul because it's unacceptable for him to be punching the door. At no point at all is it acceptable. And it's like, it's the audacity. You used your words to tear down somebody else. But suddenly you have the bandwidth to say you want to speak to somebody else about punching a door. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Yes, there is the risk that he could have attacked her, but still make it make sense. She is saying she's not afraid of him, so she knows more what took place than you do, and you don't have the right to sit on a throne and lecture to anyone. Elliot, please take several seats. Jeff has more insight into the incident. He was more analytical. He called out the violence, but also at the same time, he understands everything else that happened, because at the end of the day, it all started in his presence. The fight about, or the disagreement or the sadness that came over, Paul, when he found out that his girl had slept with someone. He knows all those facts. I don't think everybody else in the group knows. And I think when they find out, they will have different opinions as well. I'm not saying they're going to condone the violence, but I think they're going to be more sort of accommodating. So you have Jamie and Dave. Jamie and Dave talk about their meet the family, how excited they were, how well their family sort of bonded. Jamie talks about the fact that I didn't realize that Dave's mom had asked her if she was satisfied. And it's like, oh my God. And Jamie made fun of it and just said, my dad was so embarrassed. He looked like he was about to sink into the table. So it was really cute. They spoke about the fact that, they are fish parents now. They're looking after Billy and Sierra's fish because Billy left the fish with them, and they really seem to be doing very well. They seem to be thriving. And for Jamie to say we're a boring couple, and I love that we're boring, I love this for myself, was amazing, because people always take for granted when they have smooth sailing. They always are looking for the drama and for the next hurdle for them to skip over. And so for Jamie to say, I'm happy that we're in the space we are a boring couple, and it's amazing. I'd rather be boring than going through what everybody else at the table is going through. So then the attention turns to Afina and Adrian. And so Afina is asked, how are the two of you going? Dave is the one who actually asked the question, if I remember correctly. And so Afina is very sad. You can tell she's been crying. I don't know why the producers continue to want to put her through the trauma. Every season, there is someone who they drag through the mud by matching them with such an awful partner. And I don't even get why they did this. So you have Afina reveal that, their meet the family only lasted 10 minutes, and that, his sisters were sort of asking her, how do you expect a partner to show up? Because, he's shown up for you more times than he's shown up for everybody else that is dated before. And it's like, well, I really didn't get that question when they asked it. Even the fact that they said to her, you focus on the negative, you don't focus on the good things that he does, you're always speaking badly of him. And it's like, why would they say that? If they're his sisters and they've been around him since birth, they should know their brother. Even if it's a friend, you should know your friend. You should hear stories about how he is in a relationship, enough to know that he is behaving terribly. I wonder how the sisters and the friend feel now, watching on TV and seeing how badly he treated his wife. You have Afina question, why did you write stay when you knew you weren't going to put in any effort? Why did you choose to stay? You could have easily have gone home and that would have been okay. So you have him sort of try to say, I have put in a lot of effort. So the girls at the table, I love that they all decided that if Afina is not going to fight this battle, we're going to fight it for you. The fact that people like Beth stopped, Adrian, when he was trying to interrupt Afina when she was talking, and they told him to hold it, buddy. You had Veronica. Veronica was in tears. Sadly, Adrian was in the crosshairs because he was stuck between Jamie, Beth, and Ree. And they are some of the quietest women in the experiment. Yeah, Jamie not so much, but the fact that he had these two sort of go to bat for Afina said a lot, because they must have been hearing a lot of the negative things that he's doing. And so the audacity for him to say that, I asked her to go for a walk. And it's like, so in everything that she's asked you about, you said you're going to make an effort. In the confessions week, you didn't do anything to show that you really were interested in this relationship with this woman. If I were you, I would have done my confessions letter, and I would have said to her, okay, I know you did your confessions letter for me. I've finally decided to do mine. Let's sit down and let's read it out to one another, even if the cameras are not there. That would have been something. No, he took her for a walk so that he feels that was him making an effort. He told her, let's watch a movie, but they were not able to watch the movie because they were tired and they finished recording around 10, so that didn't work out. And then they asked, so have the two of you been out on a date? Have you been out for a dinner? And he says yes. And when Afina says, no, we haven't, he has the audacity to argue and say, we've been to Nando's. I love Nando's. I love a good Nando's. And so the idea that this man is standing, 10 toes deep and arguing and saying he's been to Nando's is like, make it make sense, buddy. How is Nando's you showing up? How is Nando's you showing up? So all this time you've been having wife duties, and they say, well, everybody's focused on my wrongdoings. Nobody is focused on what she does. It's like everybody's just laughed at you. Even Elliot was laughing at you. Make that make sense. Elliot, the village idiot, is laughing at you. Let that sink in. Let that sink in, genius. And so for him to complain that, oh, you haven't done anything for me, it's like, how many things do you want this woman to do for you before you acknowledge that she has made an effort in this relationship? She wrote the confessions letter, you didn't. She spoke about how she would always, prepare stuff for you, tidy up after you, clean up after you, and you didn't do anything because she was complaining about that. She has constantly checked on you. When you stormed off because you weren't included in the promo, she checked on you. She constantly was in communication with you. What else did you need? I said this before, I'll say it again. As far as I'm concerned, Adrian is the spin doctor. He's a pro at sort of deflection, because every time he finds himself in trouble with someone, he finds a way of turning it against them and making everybody else see that person in a negative light, whether it's something that is done because he's a twin or whether this is something that is new to him. I don't get it, but I've noticed a trend that every time he gets himself in trouble, he will find a way to deflect and get himself out. So you have, the group go around sort of asking questions about everyone and how people are doing in their relationships. First up is Tony and Morena. And Tony and Morena, for me, I wish Morena was woman enough to just take negativity and just keep it stepping. I wish she had been woman enough to accept what he said and kept it stepping. But she has decided to use the fact that he said he wants children against him and drag him for filth for it. And so Tony got to a point whereby I think he reached his wits' end, and he told her that the way you're confrontational when you're angry, that makes me nervous. That gives me the craps, because I don't know how to handle that. I don't know how to sort of deal with it, because I'm at a loss of what to say or do that won't trigger you, because you're so triggered and you won't listen to anything that I have to say. And for her to keep going on about this, it's like, Morena, we need to stop. We need to stop. We need to stop letting our trauma sort of affect us, because in one breath she is saying that, she wanted a man, she deserved a manly man, and she stuck with Tony, and Tony ain't it. And then in the other breath, she's mad that why is Tony saying he wants to, he wants to break up, he wants to move on and find somebody younger. Which is it? Are you upset that you want somebody younger to have children, or are you upset that he's not manly enough and Mafs didn't give you the man that you wanted? Make it make sense. If you couldn't find a manly man in the real world, how do you expect to find a manly man in Tony or a manly man on Mavs? It makes you question a lot of things about Morena and her story coming into the experiment. I'm sorry. I hate to be hypocritical. I hate to be that judgmental and sort of not champion for women. But the way she talks about her relationship, her connection, the way she confronts situations makes you question her story of being a victim. Is it a situation whereby the victim is now sort of turned into the role of the negativity or the negative person? Make it make sense. I don't get that. Next up is Beth and TJ. Beth and TJ are doing good. They say to everybody, we're so sorry we don't have any drama to discuss, but we're in a very good space and we're just, learning to get to know each other and accommodate each other's wants, needs, and sort of making sure we're aligned on what we look for in a partner. And I love this for them. Lauren and Clint talk about the challenge, about how, they were able to tackle the honesty challenge and, and what they like about one another. For Lauren to say she sees, friendship as the foundation for a relationship, it's like, Lauren, you don't like this man. You don't like this man. I think Lauren is still stuck on Elliot. That's the impression that I get. I think she's still stuck on Elliot and the fact that Elliot didn't like her the way she liked him or the way she was open to getting to know him. I think had they brought her someone round about the same looks or same age as Elliot, should have been content. But the fact that they've matched her with an older man, whether or not he's got more security, financial security, this is something that's not sort of syncing with her. I think she's stuck on the idea that how dare Elliot not sort of make things work with her. And this was even more evident when Elliot and Victoria were talking. This was even more evident when Elliot and Veronica were talking, because Elliot and Veronica were next. They spoke about the challenge, the honesty challenge, and Elliot spoke to the group about what he had written, or she brought up what he had written. And then he spoke about the fact that, you know, because she asked him, how do you feel? He said, I feel traumatized. He was a bit more open, in my opinion, with the group than he was with his wife when they sat down. And sadly for Elliot, I think Veronica expected him to write a story about himself and not write a story about someone and how that person's story affected him. Because I think had he written that he was diagnosed with diabetes and he was in hospital for a while they tried to manage that, he slipped into a coma and he had to, you know, revamp his diet, his food, his whatever, I think she would have been accepting. I think she's stuck on the fact that the story was about his sister and is not focused on how his sister's story affected him. And so I love that people like Jamie were able to advocate. Had you told me that the ladies would be fighting for Elliot, I would have said never. But to have people like Beth and Jamie sort of speak up on his behalf and try and make sense of the whole situation for Veronica was something she didn't expect. I think Veronica's problem is her vision or her idea of Elliot was tainted by the group the first time he came in with her, and by the things that Lauren said. And sadly, she hasn't sort of moved away from that. And until she moves away from the idea of the man that everybody else has described, she'll never be able to heal and grow with this man. So Jackie decided to use this as her moment to show her ass. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense. Because you had everybody else sat there, they've gone through their problems. And I think Jackie, realizing that she hadn't had been the center of attention, she decided to bring up her issues with Ray. She's decided to bring up about, you know, how she felt. I've been crying all week because of the comments that you said at the commitment ceremony. The commitment ceremony is about your relationship, and yet you brought us in. You didn't need to bring my name into your relationship because I have nothing to do with your relationship. You embarrassed me. You humiliated me. You did this. And it's like, but Jackie, they are not saying your name out of the blue. They're talking about how an action that you took contributed to the sort of issues they were having in their relationship. Had you not texted him, there wouldn't have been an issue. For Jackie to retract her apology and say she's owed an apology didn't make sense. Everybody at the table was just hysterical because they couldn't believe how much she was digging herself down this hole deeper and deeper and deeper. I think Jackie was doing it for attention. I don't think she was aggrieved at whatever, you know, Ree said. I think she was doing it more for attention and to sort of be I don't know, to have herself heard or to just hear herself speak. Because after she got the apology, you saw her smiling, and you even had Beth say, oh, Jackie does this thing whereby she creates a lot of mess, and then she sits there and she starts smiling as though she's not the cause of the mess. And it's like, we all know that. We've seen this. And Ryan was complaining about this, and I'm happy that everybody else is getting to witness what he goes through in his relationship. Yes, Ryan was trying to be supportive by telling everybody to give her an opportunity to speak. I think because he knew if he didn't do that, then he would have to pay for that. So I feel some type of way about them as a couple. I feel sort of conflicted in the sense that they have taken their toxicity and drama and mess and decided to bring it to other couples for no apparent reason than just wanting to hear themselves speak. That's the impression that I get. And so I can't wait to see what the experts say about it on the commitment ceremony. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 19. Bye guys.